Do you want to know more about running realistic operations on your model railroad? Why don't you stick around and watch this segment and see how we do it on the Sayre secondary. Hello everyone, Joe from Central Jersey, Conrail and Inscale. Welcome back to our operations series. So this time we are starting a brand new date. It's July 8th, 1988. I've gone around since our last operating session and I've gone ahead and clerked the layout. I've moved all the car cards. I've switched all the cars out and remade up all the new trains, and we're ready for the next step. Okay, so also when I was clerking the layout this time around, I took the opportunity to make a little changes. I made sure that any of the cars that we decided were not needed, and we pulled the waybills out, they ended up back in the staging yard, so I pulled them off the layout. I also added some new cars on this cycle to account for the new industries down in Englishtown. I filled out new waybills. I also took the time to make up waybills for the southern secondary, so now we can visualize what industry the cars are going to, and they're not just a group of cars going down to the staging yard. So that's another change. And then the last thing I did was, when I would put all my paperwork together and I take all the waybills and put them on a clip, I take a little yellow sticky and I would put the train name on it. But I was finding the yellow stickies kept falling off. So what I did was I took little blue cards and I made them up to slide into the locomotive pocket. So like this. So it's just a little blue card that fits in the front pocket, and all it does is it has the train name written on it. And I slide it in the front like that. And then when you clip it to the front of the packet like this, you can see which train this is. Now, what I've done this session is I've gone ahead and pre-assigned all the locomotive and the motive power to each train. So everything's already made up and it's sitting in the staging yard ready to go. So the other thing I did this time around was I went ahead and cleared all these way in transit cards. And I did that by doing this. Tony Bowen, my buddy out there, he was kind enough to send me, he had a couple of these. They're a little blue die. And they're like 20-some sided die. And nice Conrail blue color that he actually had. So all I do is, so I have the car card here. I picked a spot over in Brown's yard. And then I pulled the whole string of cars that needed to be weighed. So I made up another yard job to pull the cars through the spot. And so we'll just say that this was the spot here. And then each time the car would pass the spot, I would pick a number. And it's easy enough to pick the day. So today's July 8th. So if you roll an 8, the car's overweight. If you don't, then it's good to go. So, and then I would just throw the die down and it came up as a 12. So the car is good to go, and we just roll it through the scale. And I went through the whole string of all the hoppers like that, and believe it or not, I didn't have any overweight cards, so we can't try that out this session. But maybe next time we'll get that to happen. Okay, so this session we're going to be running the SA39 down to Ciba Geigy again. I think I've got that train really trimmed down to the way it needs to be, so we shouldn't have any problems this time that I foresee. But before we get rolling, as always, I want to go over the comments and questions from last session. Remember last session we did the dual. We did an SA35 and the SA37 extra, and we did that juggling the track space with multiple Form Ds. So Big Bill from the Catastrophe Railroad, he actually sat down and watched the whole long video. So thanks, Bill. That means a lot to me because I know you're not into long videos. But so he really liked the video, and he actually commented he didn't think it was long enough. So thanks, Bill. And so Neil Perry, he commented back about the Sound Loco. He was really happy with the way that the Sound Loco added to their operations in conjunction with Ed's train crew software. So Chicagoland Rail fan 171, he asked about signals. No, we're not going to be putting signals on here. The only two signals I have is at milepost 65, and there will be another one at the top at a big helix, and that's not really for operations. That's really just for when we're having op sessions to let operators know that the helix and the lower level is clear, and those two signals are controlled by the staging yard / SA panel operator. At this point, this is all dark territory that I'm modeling, so I'm just going with that, and we're going with the Form Ds, track warrants, to control track space. So Breaky 44820, he was asking about the movements of the cabooses into the pit. Why even bother having two? Why not just leave one in there or something like that? The main reason is because I'm just doing it for operational interest. I don't really want to leave the same caboose in the pit over and over, and you know, I want to have that. There is going to be a crossing across that long track, so. Well, for the backing maneuver, it's going to work as a place for the conductor to protect the crossing. So Roanoke's NS Winston-Salem District in Inscale, he was asking about the caboose that we used. That was actually Walther's N21 class caboose. I believe it's out of production, but I think I was just on Inscale yard sale on Facebook the other day, and I did see one up for sale. So if you go out there, you can catch those. Otto Betcher. I hope I'm saying that last name right, Otto. I hope I didn't butcher it. So Otto came up with an awesome idea, and it's just amazing that I haven't run across it before. But with keeping track of how many handbrakes are set on the sidings and stuff like that, he was recommending putting a yellow sticky with the number of handbrakes on top of the car. I love that idea, but I don't think I want to put it on the car. I'm going to just attach it to the car card. So now when I set handbrakes on a siding, I'm just going to stick that sticky on there on the front of the car cards in the bill box. The first one just saying, you know, 5 handbrake set or all handbrake set or whatever the case may be. So thank you, Otto. I appreciate that. So Thomas Stoto from Overland Transportation System, he was talking about the loads for the hoppers. You beat me to the punch, Thomas. Actually, we're going to be doing something very similar to what you were commenting on. We're going to make up some loads with some magnets just like that, and then we're going to put them down in there and be able to pull them out with a pickup tool. So, but I'm going to cover that in one of the upcoming shop series. We're going to do that all together so we can work on that. I have a couple ideas of how to make the inserts for the cars. I picked them up from Ken Patterson's What's Neat This Week video. So we'll work on that together and coming soon. And Leona Timber Company was commenting about the handbrakes that I forgot to set and all that. And that, again, is related back to Otto's recommendation about the yellow sticky, just to say how many brakes are set so I don't lose track. You know, it's kind of hard when you're not in the real world and you don't have the handbrake set, so you don't know. So, yeah, I'll try to make that correction. Vinny, BNSF 6951. He was asking about the car cards. Yes, I went ahead and took all the pictures. I actually have a photo roster of all the cars on the layout, and all my car cards have the number of the car on the car cards. And eventually, the ones that are duplicates, right now, I'm kind of using like if one has graffiti or one has some other defining mark, I put that on there to differentiate the two. But shortly, as soon as we get going here, I'm going to start renumbering all these cars so I all have independent numbers and we don't have any duplicates. Okay, so 2 big operational comments, one from Mike Simmons and the other one from Mike O'Brien. So Mike Simmons was saying that when the train was sitting at Toth on C108, the Form D C108, and then we went to change over the Form Ds and get C109, what we did is we canceled Form D C108 first before issuing C109. And according to NORAC handbook rules, no train shall occupy a track space outside of yard limits without an active Form D. So technically we canceled C108 and that train's not supposed to be there before issuing C109. So the proper thing would have been is to cancel, to issue C109 first and then cancel C108. So that's just proper things. I want to make sure we're doing it as realistically as possible. So thanks, Mike. I really appreciate it. Okay, so Mike was saying don't use the word overlapping Form Ds because apparently that's a big no-no. We would be getting our 30-day rip here. So what the proper term is multiple trains in DCS territory. So overlapping Form Ds means that you have 2 conflicting orders and you've given the same track space to 2 different trains, and that's what an overlapping Form D is. So that's a bad word. So we're just going to use multiple trains in DCS territory. So that's the proper terminology. So thank you, Mike. I really appreciate it. And so both Mike O'Brien and Mike Simmons were saying Mike's railroad uses the GCOR, the G-Core rule handbook, and Mike O'Brien was saying that a lot of short lines are going over to the G-Core handbook because it's a little simpler and it makes it easier for avoiding overlapping Form Ds and stuff like that. Yes, I thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate that knowledge, but I want to stick to the prototype here, so we're just going to go with the NORAC handbook here on the Sayre Secondary. Okay, so that's the questions and comments for last session. Overall, though, I may not have mentioned everybody out there, but everybody gave me lots of praise, a lot of good comments out there. So I thank you all very much for watching and commenting back. Okay, so let's get to it. SA39 is already, their crew has already coupled up the locomotive to the train. They've done their initial air brake test, and they're sitting at the ready to go over in Brown's Yard. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to move the camera and we'll get rolling. Okay, so here's our train for today, the SA39. SA39 rates 1 GP38-2 locomotive number 8228 on the point. We have 6 cars to take down to Ciba Geigy, and we have 1 idler car on the back for our end of train device. Then we also have to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cars out of the Ciba Geigy to bring back. Don't forget, one of those is that extra car that we left from behind from the last day we worked. So that's what work we're looking at doing today. Okay, so our first Form D that we have will help us get down there. That's Form D C101, and that is 2 C&E number 8228, the SA39, circle line 2. Operate in a south direction on single track between Browns and TRI, which is Toms River Industrial. Then our second Form D, once we get down to the, before we get on the TRI, is going to be C102, and that is also addressed to C&E of number 8228, the SA39, and that is circle line 2, operate in both directions on single track between TRI and Ciba, end of track. So those will be our 2 Form Ds to get us down there. So, like I said, the crew's already hooked up. They've already done their initial air test, and we're ready to get rolling. Okay, so called the dispatcher. We get time effective of, on the fast clock, of 16:44 in the PM, and dispatcher's JD. So we're clear to proceed on Form C101. So go ahead and start pulling forward. Okay, so we arrived in Lakehurst at the turnout for the Toms River Industrial, the TRI. We're going to call our dispatcher, and we're going to get Form D C102 authorized. And time effective on the fast clock is going to be 17:30 hours. And dispatcher is JD. And then we'll get the cancellation time on Form DC 101, and that's going to be 17:10. Dispatcher Desmond. So we're now operating under the authority of Form DC 102. So the crew is going to open the turnout, and then we're going to pull in off onto the Toms River Industrial. Okay, so now we'll line and lock the turnout for the main, and now we're on the Toms River Industrial. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the idler car outside of the plant. Give us a little more room. So we're going to set the handbrake on this. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now we'll uncouple and pull forward. All right, so the first move I got to do is I got to take these two cars and we got to put them over at building 108. So we're going to move forward as much as we can to give us some room. I'm going to set handbrake on the black tank car. Now I'm only setting one handbrake because we are on a flat level surface here, so the track conditions warrant that, only one handbrake. I read that in the some literature that I got. So we're going to uncouple and we'll pull forward. Okay, so we're going to throw the crossovers and we're going to back down. All right, we're going to stop there. Set the handbrake on the white tank car. Uncouple. Pull forward. And pull forward, and we're going to pick up the two cars at building 108. Kind of hard to see around there. So we're going to couple and connect. Release the handbrake on the two cars. Alright, so now we'll pull forward. Now, we're going to take these two cars and scoot them back in, and we'll take these two and put them out on the outside the plant to make more room. Couple and connect. Release the handbrake. Pull forward. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I can't get in around this building. I'm going to uncouple like that and push it back. Alright, so we'll set both handbrakes on both of those new tank cars. We'll uncouple and pull forward. All right. So now I'm going to go down and put these on the entrance. And we'll pull forward. Alright, so now I'm going to take the time to go ahead and switch out the car cards for building 108, just so I don't get too ahead of myself. So there's those 2 cards. I'll put these back with the rest of the paperwork. We'll update our switch list. We went ahead and made these set outs, and we made these pickups. Okay, so now I want to get these 2 cars. They're going to the steam plant. So I'm going to get them in position, and we're going to switch the steam plant now. So my plan is this. I'm going to go back, I'm going to backtrack back out. I'll push these cars down so they're clear of this turnout, and cut my locomotive back off and run back down and grab these so we can move these cars around down here. So we're going to couple and connect. And we got to release the handbrake on that car. And now we'll push down here. Okay, so we're going to set a handbrake on the 110 car. Uncouple and pull forward. So I'm going to set another handbrake on one of the hoppers. We'll uncouple and pull forward. Now I'm going to run around these hoppers. Now we're going to move the crossover so we're in position. Now we will couple up. Release the handbrake. And now we're going to move forward. Conductor's going to throw this crossover now. We're going to move in and pick up those 2 tank cars that are sitting at the steam plant. Alright, so we're going to couple and connect. Going to release 2 handbrakes. Now we're going to pull forward. Alright, throw the crossover. I'm going to set a handbrake for this tank car here. Uncouple and pull forward. Ooh, that was a little too quick. Now, going to shove these two back in there, and then I'll put these and shove them in there, so they're in a position just to pick them up on the end of the train when we're ready to leave. Okay, we'll set the two handbrakes. Now we'll uncouple. Okay, couple and connect. Release the handbrake. Okay. All right. Set a handbrake. Uncouple and pull forward. Now I need to move my locomotive and get over there. Couple and connect. Release the handbrake. And now we're going to pull forward. What we need to do is we need to get that whole string of cars out of there. Alright, so let's back up. Alright. Couple up. Release all four handbrakes. Now we're going to pull forward. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to take two cars out at a time. I don't want to overdo it and get everything jammed up. So we'll set a handbrake real quick. A couple there. Pull forward. Just made it. Set a handbrake. Uncouple. Pull forward. We're going to get those other two out of there, out of building 105. Set the handbrake. I'm sorry. Hit the wrong button. That's the problem with the switching crew. When you hit the wrong button, you gotta wait. So disregard that. We're gonna release the handbrake. Couple and connect. Did it out of order. I'm all flustered now. All right. Pull forward. couple and connect. I'm pushing the car with the handbrake on. Release the handbrake, and we're going to push back more. So we're going to set a handbrake. Uncouple, pull forward. Spot these two cars right there. So we'll set both handbrakes. We will uncouple. And move forward. Now we're going to now pick up this string and pull forward. Couple and connect. Release the handbrake. Now we're going to set the handbrake on one of these tank cars and leave the string of cars here. And we need to go down and pick up the other stuff. Okay, so we're going to pick up the cars off of the grade over there that's sitting outside the plant. We're going to bring them in. So I'm going to couple and connect. We have two handbrakes set on the grade out there, so we're going to have to release two. Now we're going to pull forward. All right, so we're going to drop two cars here. So we'll set a handbrake. Uncouple. Pull forward. We'll throw it a crossover. What we're going to do is we're going to push that string down and we're going to come in and we're going to pick up 1, 2, 3, 4. Then what we're going to have to do is we're just going to have to grab all our cars and we'll have to get tracked down to Lakehurst so we can reposition our train. All right, so we'll couple and connect. Release the handbrake. And we'll pull forward. All right, we'll couple and connect. We're going to release a handbrake. And we'll uncouple from this string. So before we get going, I'm going to go ahead and update our car cards. These go into building 105. We're going to take these 4 out. And then these 2 go to the steam plant. And we're going to take these out. Okay? We'll put all these together. We'll clip them together and we're ready to go. Alright, so we'll start backing out of the moving out of the plant. Okay, so now we got all our cars together. Again, we're got got too many cars in there, and that's because of that extra tank car, so it's kind of a little messing us up. But that's okay. I'm just going to do like Mike Simmons suggested the last time we were in here, and that was like, who cares? Put it together. Let's get it out of there. And I'm going to get track space from dispatch to run through from Route 88 down to milepost 67, which is going to be, you know, so I get some track space past the milepost 65, so I have room to use the runaround at Lakehurst. So this way we can reposition our train and get ready for the trip back to Browns. So we'll add single track on the additional lines down here between milepost 67 and Route 88. So that gives us enough. That'll give us enough room to do our maneuvers, and just dispatches JD. And time effective on that will be 2046 hours. All right. So now let's get the train moving down to Lakehurst, and we can move it around. All right, so the conductor's going to move the turnout. And we're going to pull down. All right, we'll clear the Toms River Industrial. We'll throw that turnout. Now we're going to pull forward. And we're going to stop right there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set a handbrake. Uncouple. And we'll move forward. So now we're going to pull ahead, and we'll go all the way down the end of the Lakehurst runaround. We're going to couple and connect up to our train. And release the handbrake. Okay, so we got our train repositioned. We're ready. We're here in Lakehurst. We still own this track under the additional line on Form D C102. So now is a good opportunity to sit here and do our air brake test. So the engineer is going to charge the train line. Okay, so now the conductor is going to verify that the train line's at 90 pounds. He's going to call up 8228, give me a set. The engineer is going to make a 20-pound reduction on the brake line, setting the brakes. Okay, now the conductor verifies the pressure again, confirms it's 88. Now he's going to inspect. He's going to walk the cars and make sure all brake shoes are set. Alright, so all the brakes are set. So the conductor will call up to the engineer. 8228, that's a good set. Give me a release. So the engineer releases the brakes. Now the conductor is going to walk the train and make sure that all the brakes are released. Alright. So conductor will call up to the engineer. 8228, that's a good release. So our test is successful. Okay, so now we're ready to head back to Browns. So we need to get a new Form D. So we're going to get Form D C103 to C&E number 8228, the S839. Circle line 2, operate in north direction on single track between milepost 65 and Browns. Dispatcher is JD. Time effective is 2146. And with that, we're also now we can cancel Form D C102. So cancellation is 2150 hours, dated July 8th, 1988, and dispatcher is Desmond. So with that being said, our brake test is complete. We have our Form D, our paperwork is in order, our switch list is up to date. We're ready to roll out. It's time to head home. Okay, so there you have it, running the SA39. I think this is maybe our third or fourth time doing this, and let me tell you, that's the hardest job on this whole layout. It's just nerve-wracking every time. So, but we got through it this time. I took some advice from Mike Simmons and Mike O'Brien and just did what we had to do, get the cars out. We had track space available down here in Lakehurst, so we called up dispatch and we got an additional line added to Form D102. So that gave us the authority to use that runaround down there in Lakehurst, get the train repositioned, and then we did our brake test. We made sure all our paperwork was in order, and then we took it on home to Browns. So we got back to Browns Yard on the fast clock at like 10:45. So that's like a 5 or 6 hour job. So I think time-wise we're looking really good. I think we're getting a little better. We may have shaved off about an hour or so on the fast clock. Traffic pattern-wise, I think we're really starting to dial it in here. We're actually, the way Ciba Geigy looks right now looks like it's going to be the way it should be. 2 cars on each spot, 2 in 105, 2 at the steam plant, and 2 at 108. I think that 6 cars there is going to be really good. It was just today we had those 2 extra cars that got left behind last time, so we that's why it was a little more difficult. Okay, so that's going to put a wrap on it for this time. SA39, that one's done. So next time we're going to be running the SA37 down to Lakewood and Lakehurst to switch out the industries down there. So don't forget to leave me your questions and comments on this video. I want to know what everybody thinks. First time viewers, if you're watching this for the first time, you like what you see, please subscribe to the channel because we're doing this every month. We're putting out an operations video. So with that being said, that's all I have for you this time. So we'll see you next time on Central Jersey, Conrail, and Innscale. Thanks for watching.